Wellness for Life is brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, Mahabi Atwa Community Action Partnership, Natural Alternatives, and Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic.
Back at Mahabi Atwa today, and recently a lot of snow in the lakes area, which means the temperatures have plummeted and we're starting to turn up the heat in our homes. And if you're looking for assistance with energy, Mahabi Atwa has some great options, don't they?
Yes, if you're in need of some help paying your energy bills, whether it's your propane, electricity, natural gas, fuel oil, any of those heating sources, we do have that available. So if you want to come in, fill out an application, and we can process that, and we can get you a grant for anywhere between $200 and $1,400 to help out with your heating this winter.
Yeah, so if you're looking for some of those heating options, a little bit of assistance in paying some of those bills, what are some of the qualifications that you need to meet?
This is an income qualified program, so in order to qualify, you need to have an income based upon household size for about $6,700 up to about $17,000, depending on how many people in your home. And then from there, we take a look at the amount of fuel you used last year, and then you are assigned a grant based upon a formula determined by the state.
I know you mentioned propane as one of the things that you'll help out with. How about things like electric?
Electricity, we can help you with if you qualify. We can help with paying your electric bill as well, because there is a component of your heating that is electric in pretty much all cases.
Is there a certain amount of time that this program lasts? Let's say that you go through the application and you get accepted.
Yep, the program runs basically from October 1st until May 31st to apply, and then we can also go into the summer if you've still have some crisis funds left. We can help with some energy repairs as well into the summer months. But basically it runs from October 1st until May 31st, providing there's funds.
Now, let's say you've applied in the past, is this something that you need to apply for every year?
Yep, this is something you apply for every year. If you applied in the past, you should have already received an application in the mail, and you would be pre-logged into the state system. If you haven't applied in the past, you can stop into one of our offices or make a telephone call to one of our offices, and we can send you an application.
Let's talk just a little bit about the application process. How easy is it to apply? Where do you do that? What are some of the things that you're looking for?
Right now, we're looking for each member of the household on the application, because it is qualified based upon the number of occupants of the house. We also will need proof of income, which is the last 3 months of income to qualify, and your heating vendors and electric vendors.
And where would you apply?
You can apply right here in Detroit Lakes or one of our other satellite offices in Park Rapids, Wadena, Fergus Falls, and Mahnomen.
Yeah, so super easy to apply for the energy assistance. One of the things that I've often heard when people apply, is how long is it going to take? If I apply today, how long is it going to take before I start receiving the assistance?
Right now, we've got quite a backlog of applications. It does take a little bit of time for us to process applications, because we do have to go through each of the applications and verify all of the income, and the more complete information we do get in the first hand, the easier it is for us to complete. Then we also have to look through it a second time to make sure that everybody is qualified, and then from there, then we make our grant awards, and then we make payments to your energy vendors.
You had mentioned earlier that in some cases, not only the energy assistance is something that you can help out with, but repairs to some of the furnaces and things like that.
Right, so part of the program is also the emergency related repairs or replacements. So basically, if you do have a heating emergency where a furnace fails, we can also help with furnace repairs or replacements.
Now is the time to get your energy assistance, and if you have not done that yet, and you're looking for something like that, or somebody, maybe it's your mom or a neighbor or something like that, certainly give them the opportunity to know about Mahabi Atwa and their energy assistance program. thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us today.
Thank you.
Coming up on Wellness for Life.
Hello, I'm Matthew Koffenberg, physical therapist and owner of Back in Motion Physical Therapy in Perham, Minnesota, as well as Park Rapids, Minnesota. Today I thought I'd talk about something a little different, a little out of the ordinary. It's a quite rare condition that I'm going to talk about today. It does not affect many people. I've been practicing as a physical therapist for about 20 years, and I've seen a handful of these. But when they come into your office, you know it right away. People are in quite a bit of pain, and actually it's pretty easy to deal with. So what we're talking about today is called thoracic outlet syndrome. Thoracic outlet syndrome is characterized by symptoms of, you can have some chest pain, you can have neck pain, you can have arm pain. A lot of times the arm feels really, really heavy, and a lot of times you're going to have temperature changes in the hand itself. It'll feel really, really cold. So there's pain associated with some temperature issues. And the reason for that is actually quite simple. So if we look at the anatomy, I can kind of show you what's happening with thoracic outlet syndrome. So the condition actually happens right here. This is where the problem lies, right where the collarbone and the ribs and the neck kind of meet. That's where the issue is. So that's what this picture is. So we've got the neck here, and then I've got the collarbone, and I'm describing a couple of the ribs, and then the sternum. So the ribs attach into the sternum, and then they wrap around and attach into the spine. So the issue with thoracic outlet is when the tissues between the collarbone and the first rib, so there's several tissues between the collarbone and the first rib, those tissues can sometimes get squished or compressed. So what's in between the collarbone and the rib, it's called the neurovascular bundle, but it's comprised of a big vein, a big artery, and then a nerve. Those three structures make up what's called the neurovascular bundle. They all come from the neck, and then they dive underneath the collarbone and right above the rib. Sometimes those structures can get compressed. So that's why we'll see some temperature changes. That's why we'll see pain, because the nerve is getting compressed. You're going to get pain. The temperature changes are when the vein and the artery get a little bit compressed. So why does it happen? Here are the main causes. You can either have muscle tightness, you can have an elevated rib, you can have an extra rib, you can have some postural issues, or you can have some weakness. So let's kind of go through those one at a time. So muscle tightness. So what does that mean? So there's a large muscle of the neck called the scalene muscle. That scalene muscle comes from the neck bones, and it drops down. It's actually got three portions. It's got like an anterior portion and a posterior portion. That comes from the neck, and it actually comes in through here. I don't know if you can see that, but it actually attaches to the first rib. It doesn't attach to the collarbone. It actually attaches to that first rib. So if this muscle, if that scalene muscle gets short, it'll actually take that rib and lift it up. So if that rib gets lifted up, you can compress those structures. The other muscle that can get tight and create problems with thoracic outlet is actually your big chest muscle. It's called the pectoralis muscle. So that big pectoral muscle starts from the sternum, and it actually comes up. It actually attaches over to the arm here, but it actually blends into the collarbone. That's what this is trying to depict, but it actually attaches into that collarbone. So you've got this muscle that sits here. If that muscle gets tight, it can take that collarbone and actually pull it down. So if you've got the combination of a scalene muscle and a pectoral muscle that are tight, you can really have an issue, because the first rib could be elevated and the collarbone could be pushed down, and then you could really squish those structures that are in between it. So that takes care of the muscle tightness issue. We talked a little bit about the elevated rib. A lot of times it's elevated because the scalene is tight. Other times it's just a functional or an anatomical issue where some people actually just have an elevated rib. Or or some people become what are called upper chest breathers. You know, we have this large diaphragm muscle that we're supposed to use when we breathe, but a lot of us end up using our neck muscles and we become upper chest breathers, and that causes, a lot of times that'll cause that first rib to elevate and can compress those structures. Now, another interesting fact is that some people actually have an extra rib. So they'll have, and I didn't draw this, but this is the first rib, this is the second rib. Some people actually have an extra rib that sits right here and it wraps around. Those people, if you've got an extra rib, extremely rare, but if you have an extra rib, you're almost guaranteed to end up with thoracic outlet. Those individuals usually need surgery. A lot of times they'll have to go in and actually take that rib out. It sounds scary, but it's actually a pretty safe and easy surgery to do. Again, it doesn't happen. I've seen it happen once in my 20-year career where someone had to go in for surgery. Posture and weakness often kind of go together. Postural dysfunction, if someone has poor posture, so I'm going to really exaggerate poor posture, but poor posture is usually described by forward shoulder and forward head. Well, this position is going to tighten which muscles? It's going to tighten the pec muscle and it's going to tighten those neck muscles. So if you have poor posture, especially if you work at the computer, over time you could develop significant tightness and cause compression of that neurovascular bundle. So really just watch your posture. And along with posture, we tend to end up with weakness in the back. So we tend to end up with weakness in what's called the lower trapezius muscle. So when we're forward like this lower trapezius muscle often gets stretched too much, and a stretched muscle becomes very, very weak. So we often want to develop a strengthening program to really get this the shoulder blade muscle strong, and you can hold yourself in better posture. So if you suspect you have thoracic outlet, come and see me, come and see a local physical therapist. This is actually really quite easy to deal with. You stretch some muscles, you build some strength, you work on posture, and a lot of times you can take that pressure off of that neurovascular bundle. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, give me a call at 218-346-2464.
Thank you for watching Wellness for Life. Brought to you by Back in Motion Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, Mahabi Ottawa Community Action Partnership, Natural Alternatives, and Lakeside Sports and Pain Clinic.